Yo, this is Adrian from the Playoffs of Life podcast, here to sponsor Anchor so that you can find out what Anchor can do for you, as well as what it has already done for my life. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast, and let me explain. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will also distribute your podcast for you so that it can be heard on things like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Radio Public, and many other platforms. You can also make money off your podcast with no minimum listenership. And who doesn't like to make money with Anchor? It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So if you're interested, please download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. I'll repeat that. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Peace. Yo, welcome back to the Playoffs of Life podcast with your host, Adrian Hatcher. You know what we do on this podcast? This is the podcast where we talk about basketball, lifestyle, and finances in that order. But most of the time we go up the top. On today's episode, we're going to be doing business startups. I promised y'all that the next episode will be about starting a business, as well as the trials and errors of going throughout a business and the good things that you can get out of starting your business super early and making sure that you have everything planned out before you begin this amazing opportunity you're about to explore. So we're going to jump right into it for this episode. And when starting a business, some of the main things that you have to have, of course, is a powerful message, as well as focus on your customer base, self-funding your business, and surrounding yourself with the type of people that you want in order to make the business as profitable as possible. But let's start off with a powerful message. So when developing that powerful message, you have to think about how the customer is going to perceive what you're trying to sell. Okay. The idea of this is a definition called value proposition. And what value proposition is: a promise of value to be delivered, communicated, and acknowledged. This can be applied to an organization or parts and services. So let's say you wanted to start a clothing business. Let's say you wanted to start a bakery. We can go in any avenue when talking about starting business, but let's go with any one of those. When you do this, what is your message going to be when you're marketing your product, your services? Are you offering top-notch service? Are you offering speedy results? Are you trying to bring a message of generational wealth? Are you trying to promote Black-owned businesses? Are you trying to create a global reaching business, where any ethnicity can play a major role in your business, but you want it to be a global brand? You can take it in any avenue you really want to take it, but you have to develop a message that shows value for the people that are buying your product or wanting to use your services. For example, if you were to go to any grocery store or any supermarket, what's the top names that pop up? Of course, there would be Walmart, there's Target, Sam's. And you can also put Costco in there. I don't really go to Costco. I do want a Costco card one day, but I don't go to Costco. So maybe somebody in the comments can let me know how good Costco's is. But let's say we're just Walmart. Save money, live better. Walmart. That's kind of ingrained in your head. They've had years and years and years to build upon that brand name, and they've stuck with it through all these years. Why? Because they let people know in their commercials or anything that has a Walmart brand that they're working to help you save money and to live better. Whether you agree that Walmart promotes these ideas efficiently 100% of the time doesn't really matter when you're still buying those products from that company, because the value of their message has gotten across to you. Everybody knows about Walmart. Everybody has shopped at Walmart. And when you think of it like that, anybody you know has shopped at Walmart at one point in time, which means Walmart is making a profit, not just off the commercials, not just off of the things they've done to promote themselves, but word of mouth. And word of mouth is a very powerful thing to have, especially when having a startup business. You want people to engage. You want people to talk about your business. You want people to be excited and to actually want to know about the products and services you're offering. So really think about the message you're sending when you're considering using a message in your product. The next thing we're going to talk about is focusing on your customer base and better understanding the market, whether or not you have the best product or service, and also understanding how the market moves and how that will help you grow. So you're not the only business out there. We'll use that example again with the clothing business or bakery or any type of business. There are tons of other people who probably have a similar idea to you. Do they do everything exactly like you do? No, you have something that probably makes you unique. But understanding your market also helps you develop your business. Understanding how much you're going to charge and how much they're going to charge helps you figure out what your customers are looking for. If you have the top-notch, best product out there, but you're charging insane rates as a startup, no one's really going to get you that exposure, because only a certain class, only a certain amount of people can afford your product and find out how good it is. So that makes you think, is it better to actually start small, use a product, maybe actually hand out free amounts of product or free services in order to get your name out there, and as the business grows, then you can push it to the value that you believe it is worth. I don't believe that businesses are going to charge you that insane amount of money at the get-go. Private and small businesses, like small owned businesses, they start at reasonable prices. The reason that their prices are a little bit more than the average food you'll see at a supermarket is because you're getting genuine value. That's their whole motto. We personally are experts in this field as a small business. We can spend more time, more effort, and more energy into giving you the right services or the right product. A lot of businesses like Walmart can't say they can dedicate a whole bunch of time into one customer. That's just not how their market is shaped. As a global supermarket, they focus on the mass. But as a small business owner or as a startup, you focus on each singular person, or you can. It just depends on how you want to build your model. But that falls in line with understanding your customer. Understand it from your side as a customer and as a business owner. Yeah, as a business owner, you do want to make money. As a customer, though, how would you feel if someone charged you this much for a product they've never tested, for a service they've never had from you? I have a friend of mine that owns a lawn care business, and he's doing startup services right now as we speak, and he's figuring out his own value, his own price. He's trying to figure out what's enough to keep my business going, but also enough so that I feel like I'm making a profit. And although it's hard, and I understand that, it's something that you have to go through in order to get a business to those levels that you're looking for. So really consider that when thinking about how you're going to start a business. So far, we've knocked off having a powerful message, and we've also talked about value proposition as well as customer focus. Okay. So the next thing we're going to talk about is self-funding. Okay. When you have a small business, you do have a lot of options, but those options fall into two different categories. Okay. Let's say it falls into the category of borrowing or taking out loans. You have to be smart about that. If you're going to start a business, but you don't have the necessary funds, do you go out to companies that specifically hand out small business loans? Do you go to family and friends and ask them to help start your business? And that also entails other things with it, because once you ask family and friends, do you set up a deal where there's like a settlement involved, where if you give me this much now, as my business grows, I'll give you this much later. Is that the type of deal you want to do? Or is your family generous enough to invest in you and the idea and the purpose that you feel you have? That really takes a lot on a person. So if it's not family and friends, then maybe it is taking out a loan with some of these companies we see online. If that's the case, what do you go from there? Now you're in debt with a contract involved where you are designated to pay back a certain amount of money depending on how much you borrowed when you took out that loan. Is that the smartest decision for a business you're just starting up, even though you're not sure if it's going to work out? There are so many risks to starting a business, but with great risk comes great opportunity. And that's the whole point of starting a business, is that you get to go throughout the entire process of how to create a successful business. And that's what we want to do today. We want to talk about the successful business side of it. But the only way to get to that is to really consider the small things, okay? So back up on topic. Let's say you didn't borrow from family and friends. Let's say you didn't borrow from a loan company, and you were able to start this business from the ground up. You saved enough money to do exactly what you feel you need to do in order to grow. Now that you have those funds are going to be gone. You've put those funds, whether it was savings or bonds, those funds are in your business. Your business is now tied to your personal income. That money will not be coming back. Okay? That's the risk you're taking. And I know it may sound scary at first, but you also got to think of it like this. Once that money is in that business, you have the power to make it grow. You're investing in yourself. You know how much work you have to put in. You know how much determination you have to have. You have to be creative. You have to be intuitive, decisive. You have to build the traits of a business leader, of an entrepreneur. You have to take risks even when you get the business going, because maybe those risks pay off in the short or long term. These are all factors to consider when we're talking about starting a business from the ground up. And that's what we're going to keep going on and on about. And if anybody has any questions about what we discussed so far in this podcast episode, please just drop a sound message in my anchor.com/playoffsoflife playlist. If you go to anchor.com/playoffsoflife, you can drop me a voice message. You can also hit me up on any other platform you're listening on to, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. There should be a comment section where you can leave a review or a like or anything that greatly helps me with creating the podcast and making it the best possible thing we can make. Also, I got some other things that I got in store for you that I want to bring out onto the podcast, but we'll talk about that later. But let's pick back up with what we were talking. So far, we have having a powerful message, value proposition, focusing on your customer, and also self-funding your business, okay? Next, we're going to talk about having those advisors, having the experience. Whether that experience is coming directly from you, maybe you've actually read up on how to start a business. Maybe you've done all the research you think is possible. Maybe you spent days and nights figuring out the best avenue to take. Maybe you've had this all planned out. But now that you got the business going, who's going to keep it going with you? Do you have people that you can go to for advice? People that have been in the same situation that you're in right now? If you don't, is it possible to find those advisors? Could you just do the research and call them up? Financial advisors are out there, guys. If you go online, there are actual financial advisors, specifically created jobs to help people in your situation. Now, some have free quotes, some will actually charge you, but that information can be valuable to how the market is going to go with your business, depending on what it is. So understanding the people you want to have around, the mentors, the advisors. Maybe you have those family members we were talking about. Maybe those family members that are investing in your business, maybe all they want to do is play a part in watching you succeed. And if that's the case, if they've done it before, you take that advice. Don't be afraid to open up. Don't be afraid to allow yourself to grow. You're not always going to be right. You're not always going to make the best decision. Okay? Not everything is always going to work out for you. Even with this business that you're trying to start up, startup businesses are at that 50-50 range. It's 50% fail, 50% success. The thing that pushes that 50% success is how much you put into that business and how everything plays out. And you have a huge role to play in that. That's why I'm saying those advisors, those people that have that experience, they can help you out more than anybody because they understand what it takes. Even if it didn't work out for them, they can show you the red flags along the road. Don't let your pride get in the way of you creating something that can be generational. Building generational wealth is really what we're trying to get to when you're starting a business. You're trying to build passive income, long-lasting income. Stop living out of a paycheck to paycheck lifestyle. But that only starts as you grow in the business and allowing yourself to be open-minded enough to listen to other people. Because at the end of the day, you still make the decisions about this business. But you're allowing other people to influence that decision. You're allowing other perspectives to guide you. And that's valuable, guys. That's something that's so valuable. Something so valuable, it doesn't necessarily take money to get. It's free. All it takes is your time and energy. So really consider that, okay, when thinking about starting up a business, okay? Next, we're going to talk about creating a business plan. And this one is kind of complex because there are different business plans based off what you're trying to do. Like I said, clothing, baking, let's say you're starting an investment account. Let's say you're doing lawn care. Let's say you're doing construction. We can even say electrical. Anything that you really feel like you specialize in or that you can bring value to in the market that we live in. That's kind of what people tend to make their businesses about. So creating a business plan, if we were going to take the baking aspect, you have to consider the pricing for the ingredients that you buy. Not only how much you're going to charge a customer when you bake it, but if you're actually gaining money when you give out your goods and services. You can bake a pie, but spend more in ingredients than what you're charging. Now you're down $2. And you wonder to yourself, okay, what do I have to do to create this balance to where I'm hitting even? And then from there, what do I have to do to make that profit? So that may come in the form of changing up the ingredients. That may come in the form of enhancing the prices for that good. You also have to consider small things like the containers you put your goods in, the things that you allow to use for promotion out there. Are you getting more of your customer base from Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter? Is it growing? Is word of mouth beginning to develop in your community? Is your business going to be local or global? All these things have a price tag to it. They all factor into the end result. And the only way to know exactly what direction to go is to take the time to do that research. So that's what goes into creating that business plan. That's why it's so complex, because as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, you can go in any direction you see fit in order to make that profit. And with the times we live in now with coronavirus, there's also more options or less opportunity. It just depends. It depends on what you want to do. It depends on what you're going for. But don't let that discourage you at all. Another thing about creating a business plan is that you have to facilitate your business. So you have to personally invest money into it before you get anything from it. So really think about that. Nothing is going to start unless you go ahead and already put the hard work in, the hours, the income. because it is an investment in yourself. You're investing in yourself, and you're telling customers, I believe if I can do this as well as I say it is, you'll pay me for it at a good rate, to where we're both happy at the end of the day. You're happy with the results, and I'm happy with what I've gained from it. It's a delicate balance. That is hard, but that is exciting to explore. I'm also thinking about creating a business plan down the road. I think I have a great idea, but other people have done it. The difference is they haven't done it like I've done it, or that I will do it. But that all plays into it. You still have to have faith in it. And our last subject for creating that business, for creating the startup that you want, is finding the determination to go through it all. Making business is going to be hard. Making a business is not going to be easy. There will be bumps on the road, but there are great rewards at achieving your goals. You have to sacrifice time, personal time, work time, mental capacity. You have to really make this a part of your life. A successful business should be an extension of you. And you learn how to make it easier and easier to do that business as you work it, to make that passive income without having to stress or put so much time and energy or so much investment back into it. That's the ultimate goal, to be able to gain what you started without putting so much effort into it. But in order to do that, you have to put the hard work in first. And I think anybody that's created a successful business will tell you that at the very beginning, it was all risk and no reward. And then that got flipped, whereas it soon became no risk and all reward. And you have to get to that point. That goes hand in hand with trusting the people that you want to advise you. And if you have a business where people will be working under you, you also have to trust in yourself that you're hiring the right people to help you grow and develop. Are they goal-minded? Do they have a purpose? Does them helping you bring their purpose to life? Are they happy? Are they making money? All this goes into a business startup. And I want anybody that's listening to still believe that it is very possible, and that it is a very big opportunity to take. Okay? No discouragements here. We're all about thinking positive, and we're all about thinking on a level that's going to help us start a business. For those who are listening and think, well, I've thought about this, I've heard this before. Here's the thing, you've heard it before, but just like with a business, you never heard it quite like this. This may hit you a little bit different. This may not really affect you at all, but I do want it to at least put that perspective in you. Maybe right after this, you start thinking about how you can bring value to the world, what you can create, or what type of services you can bring that will bring you the type of income that you're looking for. Maybe you don't like your job, your 9-to-5 job, Maybe you want something all your own, a desire to build something from the ground up that you can say and take all the credit for. Whatever your ambition is and whatever your purpose is with starting a business, I hope some of these tools will help you out, And if you have any questions, or if anybody wants to let me know how their businesses have been going before or after listening to this podcast, let me know. Like I say, anchor.com/Playhouse of Life. You'll be able to hit me up. I'm also on Facebook, Adrian Hatcher, ADRIHAN, HATCHER. Leave me a Facebook message. Also on Instagram, Playhouse of Life. Also on Snapchat, but I don't really use Snapchat, but I should be using it way more than I actually do. But this is going to conclude this Playoffs of Life podcast episode. I'd like to thank everybody that listened today. And we got another episode coming soon, guys. And I hope that you enjoy this episode and that you take these ideas and you really think about the next step in your process in life. All right, guys. All right. This is the podcast where we talk about basketball finances and lifestyle in that order. But most of the time we go on up the top. It was good talking to you guys, and I will see you later. All right.